leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Talk.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the April 15th, 2025 Tuesday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox
Digest.
Welcome back to DarkDox Digest. Today is Tuesday, April 15th. I am your host, Christian Coffins. Drink your water, and you should definitely get some of the methylene blue from the Alex Jones store because it's delicious and it electrifies you. So you can get that at thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox. That's right. And while you're at it, you should also get some of these ultimate turmeric gummies with ginger root and black pepper. And just smelling them, look at that. They're actually like sugar coated and they taste like peach rings. I was not expecting that. They're dynamite. And yeah, but this methylene blue is something else. It'll supercharge you. And so I'm plugging at the beginning of the show, and I'm also going to plug in the middle because I gave you guys almost 4 hours yesterday with no plugs whatsoever, driving all the way to Sarasota, and I'm going to play a couple like little clips as well. But let's go ahead and open the display capture. So today's episode is Direction, Guidance, or Supervision of Action and Conduct Management. The address placed on the outside of a letter or package to be delivered archaically. That's kind of cool. What direction is your letter going in? I kind of like that. An explicit instruction or an order. Assistance in pointing out the proper routes, usually used in plural. Why am I naming the show this? Because we need to define what direction we're going in this country and in this world. The Trump administration is, I think, doing a great job overall. I'd give them like a B+. But what is this Israel stuff? What are these violations of the First Amendment? I can say fuck you, Jew. I can say fuck you, Islam. I can say Mohammed's a faggot because this is the First Amendment, and it's only for United States citizens. If you're over here on a visa or like you don't have citizen status, you don't have a First Amendment. You don't have a Second Amendment, frankly. You don't have any of these protections under the Constitution because they are for citizens. So I just wanted to address that elephant in the room right out of the gates. And we're also going to be diving a bit more into our friend Anthony. Oh, he's not my friend. Anthony Fauci over here giving the little Roman salute. Oh, I guess he's a Nazi too, so I put him with the rest of the fascists. But he might be going down like the Nazis if we follow the Nuremberg Code. So again, like we have to make directions a direct order in order to go in the right direction. Are you heading in the right direction? That's the question. If you are on Facebook, I am Christian X Coffins. If you are on X, I am Sacred Owls Unite. If you're on Rumble, it's DarkDox. And I'm still uploading the stuff from yesterday because it was so long to Rumble and all that, and the BitChutes. And you're actually not going to get 2 out of 3 on BitChute because it was still too big. I cut it into 3-piece and it was still too big. So that's where we're at with that, just so you know. So if you want to see the full thing, uncut, raw, it's at youtube.com/Sacred Owls, where we do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you would like what we do, give me some money at CASH.APP / oh yeah, that's right. I gotta get used to this /
DarkDox.
So seductive the way the alien robot is saying that. From InfoWars, Fauci and Birx and other COVID officials pursued for murder and other charges in 7 states. This was posted on the 13th. Criminal referrals have been filed in Arizona and Pennsylvania, along with pre-existing referrals in Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Oklahoma. The charges include murder, neglect, homicide, involuntary manslaughter, medical coercion and abuse, violation of the Nuremberg Code, any medical coercion, racketeering. We covered that on our racketeering episode. This can pull down all of the people from NIH using the RICO Act. Look it up. Operating a corrupt organization and terrorism. So, this is how hard we have to be going for these people, because millions have died because of not their mistakes. They knew what they were doing. That's why they had their whole tabletop game, their whole project. What was it? Event 201, right before the pandemic happened. Criminal referrals requested for charges including murder and medical terrorism against Anthony Fauci, Deborah Birx, and other COVID officials have now been filed in 7 states. So we'll see. We'll see. And that's another thing. Are these going to be seen by some activist judges that are going to be like, you don't have standing? So we have to tackle this in a couple of ways, because we have scum all throughout all of our branches of government. And I want to play you a little clip. This is at 3 hours and 21 minutes and 40 seconds from yesterday's coverage of the Fauci process in Sarasota, Florida. This guy was actually on the American Journal with Harrison Smith this morning talking about what he's talking about here. So I'll just play the clip.
I'd like to just ask everybody if we could just take a quick moment of silence for the victims of the bioweapon injection and those that have been injured and died from the shedding. Thank you. I'm Dr. Joseph Sansone. I'm a psychotherapist opposed to psychopathic authoritarianism. I have to admit, I kind of was inspired when Congressman Ron Paul retired from Congress and diagnosed Congress with psychopathic authoritarianism with that tag. But you remember James Carville back in the early 90s? I'm an old Buchananite from the 90s. I was a chair in one of Pat Buchanan's presidential campaigns. You remember Carville in the early 90s against the first Bush for president, advising Clinton, it's the economy, stupid, right? It's the bioweapons, stupid. President Trump, Governor DeSantis, both of them know that these are biological and technological weapons of mass destruction. Do not let anyone get away with this. Operation Warp Speed wasn't just an unmitigated disaster. It was an attack and assault on the American people. You cannot be America first and look the other way while they're poisoning American citizens, the people you know and love. Now, I have a lawsuit. I'm actually on my second lawsuit against Governor DeSantis to remove these injections because they are bioweapons. I have 9 affidavits in my case. I'm the appellate court in the First District Court of Appeal. I have 9 affidavits, including an affidavit here from Dr. Francis Boyle. Unfortunately, he passed away on January 30th of this year. But I have an affidavit from the law professor that wrote the 1989 Bioweapons and Anti-Terrorism Act, saying that these are biological weapons, violate 18 U.S.C. 175, Chapter 10, and Florida Statute 790.166. They're targeting us for destruction. Now, let me tell you something. You do not have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a medical doctor to realize that if they're giving countless people chronic diseases, neurological disorders, autoimmune diseases, heart conditions, you name it, you are shortening people's lifespans. So while they're shortening people's lifespans, they're also reducing birth rates because it's getting in the testes and the ovaries and it's interfering with birth rates. We do not know the multi-generational effect of this. This is literally an existential threat to the human race. We do not know what they've done to our species because it's altering our DNA through the reverse transcription. These psychopathic authoritarian transhumanists are literally trying to merge us with technology. And I got news for you. Stargate is designed to come after you. Those AI facilities are going to be used to go after you. They want to replace whole departments of government with artificial intelligence. That's not my idea of limited government. My idea of limited government is the government gets the hell out of my life and I'm free. Do not pretend they are defending you. It'd be like if your spouse is cheating on you and you want to pretend it's not happening, that's going to make it better. Do not support anyone running for governor in the state of Florida that does not explicitly state that these mRNA nanoparticle injections are biological and technological weapons of mass destruction. If they do not say them, chase them down the street. Show up at their events, make them answer that question. Do not let them get away with it, Republicans or Democrats. And I don't care if Donald Trump endorsed that. Donald Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham, too.
The mic was off. Yeah, so, I'll leave it there. He makes a very good point. Personally, I don't think Donald Trump really knew or knows that this is a bioweapon and he's trying to kill us. Or Ron DeSantis. I really think that Fauci did know because he was behind the gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab funded by the NIH, and they moved it over to Wuhan from North Carolina because the Congress was like, guys, you can't be doing this gain-of-function here in the States. Like, okay, we'll move it over to Wuhan. They're a bit more lax with the rules over there. That's literally what's in the emails, what's in the paperwork. And this has been going on. It was going on under the Obama administration. So, but there needs to be accountability. And I'm not just talking about firings or slaps on the wrist. This is mass genocide. These are death penalties. These are military tribunals. And that's how it works. It's treason. Multiple death penalties for everybody involved at pretty much every level of this, but especially Anthony Fauci and Birx. So, we can't just be like, like everything else. Like now it's coming out of, 9/11. Most Americans think that 9/11 was an inside job and are pretty confident that our government was behind 9/11. And we've been saying that, for 25 years now, 24 years. Here's I put the link in the description for some coverage from the event. It got some good press locally. I got at the bottom of this article from the Sarasota Magazine. Those are my flags, so I'm behind these chicks. I did a couple interviews, so we'll see if any of those actually turn up. Health News Florida talked about it, and My Coast Florida, and what else we got here? Fox News 13 did a little sizzle.
Significant role in our nation's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He's virtually a household name. And today he drew some pretty large crowds to Sarasota, some to hear him speak as part of the Ringling College Town Hall Lecture Series, others to protest him being there. Fox 13 was not allowed inside the Van Wezel to hear Dr. Fauci speak.
But as Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon reports, the Ringling College Library Association says they felt people from the community deserved to hear Dr. Fauci talk about his experiences and lessons learned.
They came to hear Dr. Anthony Fauci speak.
I've read about him. I think he did do a good job.
But before they could park their cars at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Center, the audience drove through protesters.
Nothing in this world is perfect, and certainly vaccines are not perfect, and a vaccine that was put together in record time is going to have some problems, and we think it has a lot of problems, and we want people to know that.
It's not just the controversy over the vaccine. People spoke out against Dr. Fauci's role in mask-wearing mandates and the shutdown of schools and businesses during the COVID era. The group V is for Vaccine, based out of California, held this rally outside the Van Wezel.
A lot of people said, we don't want him to come here and just be able to come in and just say whatever he wants to without people understanding that there is another side.
Barbara from Sarasota wanted to hear Dr. Fauci's story and learn more.
Based on what I know about Dr. Fauci, he did the best he could under the circumstances. There was a lot of information flying around. I do believe he's a good person and he's got a solid background. And, you know, it started way back when he admitted that he made a mistake during the AIDS pandemic or crisis.
Agree or disagree with Dr. Fauci, he spoke to a sold-out audience, and there is one thing many seem to agree upon.
My hope is that we become united again, that people are more kind and friendly, and that we look for facts supported by solid science and data.
We all need a voice. We all need to be able to hear and listen to each other and communicate. And there shouldn't be this hatred that sort of kind of goes hand in hand with some of these things.
In Sarasota, Kimberly Quizon, Fox 13 News.
Dr. Fauci will be speaking once more at the Van Wezel tonight at 7:30. The Ringling College Library Association told us in a statement.
Spoke twice. I wasn't even aware of that. Wonder if they did a protest during that one too. But yeah, it was a good time, I gotta say. And I learned about the Hollow. You can go to thehollow2a.com, and they're doing some good things over there. Check this out.
Come on, Dad, let's go to the Hollow.
DarkDox. DarkDox.
It's pretty cool. They're working on the vaccine exemptions. During the whole coronavirus thing.
My daddy sacrificed for your freedom.
5,000 people, 2,000 mask exemptions when the schools were trying to force the kids to do that. So 2,000 rules. They got like movie nights and stuff. These guys are funded, organized. They have like a whole campground for youth. They do gun safety and etiquette, stuff I've been doing for years. These guys, they have this together. It's pretty impressive. Like these events and stuff, because what I noticed at this protest was that there was a lot of families. They brought their kids, and typically I don't like bringing very young children to protests like these leftist protests and stuff, because they can get violent. But they're organized. They had the Surgeon General of Florida as the keynote speaker. They had all their permits in place. So this is like a good way to kind of get involved, get your kids to have this experience, meet different people and stuff in I'd say a safe atmosphere. So if you're in the Florida area, check out thehollow2a.com because they're doing some great stuff. They got a whole bunch of events coming up. Wednesday, April 26th, Republican Assembly Club. They got another one on the 29th. Guns and Fun on 25th. Sarasota County School Board meeting on the 21st. So, this is a good hub to kind of stay active on things going on here in Florida. They got their pulse on it. So it's good to see that kind of thing. FDA grants fast track status for ARCT 2304 for H5N1 influenza protection. The FDA has granted fast track designation for this. Arcticus Therapeutics investigational self-amplifying mRNA vaccine development protect against protect against pandemic influenza. So I don't like that the FDA, is still working on these mRNAs, and not just working on them, but fast tracking them. Have we learned nothing from Operation Warp Speed? Trump, you got to do something about this. You got to stop this. RFK Jr., this is a call to action. What are you doing? Like, let's knock this out. Like, we need to get rid of all this mRNA stuff. And the people have spoken. They've spoken with their votes. This is not the direction we want to be going in this country. From WhiteHouse.gov, these sick criminals who are Democrats and legacy media are defending them. Brutal killers and rapists all taken off our streets in just the past weeks thanks to the tireless work of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. If Democrats and legacy media had their way, these sick criminals would still be roaming free. Couple of notes. Luis Olmedo Quinchipi Palasaka, not in this country anymore. A 35-year-old citizen from Ecuador was arrested by ICE in New York City. Quinchipi has convictions for forcible rape, sexual abuse, contact by forcible compulsion. Wonder what that is. Rape and anal sexual contact with a person incapable of consent, unlawful imprisonment. Does that mean underage or unconscious? Could kind of go either way. Like this guy, I'm sure it does. Unlawful imprisonment, forcible touching in intimate parts of another person, sexual misconduct by vaginal sexual conduct without consent, and subjecting another person to sexual contact without consent in Brooklyn, New York. Each one of those charges should be a death penalty. So the fact that this guy is still walking around and breathing, and we shouldn't be deporting these people either. Like, no quarter, all right? You don't get a flight back to your country. I wanted you in the wood chipper. Eduardo Garcia Cortez, a 64-year-old citizen of Honduras, was arrested by ICE in Houston, has convictions for murder in Los Angeles. Arcelo Barea, a 49-year-old citizen of Guatemala, was arrested by ICE in Chicago, known member of Piazzas gang, has multiple convictions for reentry, assault, and arson with Prince William County, Virginia. Jingming Long, a 50-year-old citizen of China, was arrested by ICE in Baltimore. Long has a conviction for sex trafficking in Bel Air, Maryland. Jesus Guadalupe Salazar, a 23-year-old citizen from Mexican, was arrested by ICE in Houston. Salazar has convictions for assault of a pregnant woman and violence against a family member in Hidalgo County, Texas. It goes on and on. We got a whole page of these assholes. And frankly, if you have this many violent crimes, again, no deportation. I want death penalties. We got to send a strong message, and I'm sick of them breathing my air. Sanctuary policies put accused killers back on the streets. So-called sanctuary jurisdictions endanger lives of Americans who live there. The latest examples of Prince George's County, Maryland. Why does Prince George have a county in Maryland? We ain't not got no queen. Under an illegal immigrant was arrested, charged with murder and assault, then released back into the streets despite ICE immigration detainer requests. That's another thing. These judges that keep releasing these people, every crime that happens after that person was released by that judge, they are now an accomplice. They need to be held accountable. I want arrest of these judges that are putting these criminals back on the streets. Fact sheet for President Donald J. Trump prevents illegal aliens from obtaining Social Security's Act benefit. Why is this just now being introduced in this country? This should have been illegal under Democrats and Republicans since the founding of the United States, but no, somehow illegal immigrants are getting Social Security benefits, and meanwhile you have disabled veterans that are living on the streets and they can't get a SNAP card. Ending benefits for illegal aliens today. President Donald J. Trump signed a presidential memorandum aimed at stopping illegal aliens and other ineligible people from obtaining Social Security Act benefits. The memorandum directs the administration to ensure eligible aliens are not receiving funds from Social Security Act programs. And also, like, why are any aliens getting Social Security? You have to pay into Social Security. You have to have a Social Security number to be a recipient. That means you have to be a natural born citizen of the United States. And then, so, like, I don't understand. If you're not a citizen, now you can become a citizen and then you get a Social Security card, but even still, you don't get benefits right away when you have a Social Security number. I don't get Social Security benefits. In fact, since I'm a W-2 employee here in the United States, they take Social Security money out of my paycheck every 2 weeks. So I'm paying into Social Security, and then based on all that I've paid in throughout my time here in this country, throughout my life, once I become eligible for Social Security, only then I start getting some of the money, not from other people, but that I paid into it. If you never pay into Social Security and you're a natural born citizen like I am, I was born here in this country, you don't get Social Security even as a citizen. So why are any aliens, illegal or not, getting any Social Security if they haven't even paid into it? It doesn't make any sense. We need to have investigate. Doge, get in here. Where's Doge? I know you're working really hard, but this is a big one. We need to understand why any aliens, illegal or otherwise, are getting American Social Security benefits. If you have an answer for this, let me know in the comments. So, Doge, get back to work. Restoring common sense to federal office space management. What's up, Mountain Violet? By the authorities vested of the President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered that the American people are spread across more than 3.8 million square miles of urban, suburban, and rural area to provide the highest quality of services and efficiency, cost-effective manner. Executive departments and agencies must be where the people are. President Carter signed Executive Order 12,072 in August 16th of 1978, the Federal Space Management Order. The federal government to prioritize central business districts when setting federal facilities in urban areas. Didn't know that. Intended to improve these districts, President Carter's order has instead prevented agencies from relocating to lower cost facilities. I see where this is going. Yeah, they should be able to go where it makes sense. Lowering drug prices, once again putting Americans first by the powers invested of the President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. Is hereby ordered that. It's funny how they say that. They just paste that because then it's not the right sentence phrasing, because then it goes, my first term included numerous significant actions. So these actions included encouragement of development of generic biosimilar alternatives and to higher costs, name prescriptions and drugs. So yeah, this is like more of the right to try stuff that, you can get generics if you want. They're just opening up the market to different options here. Ensuring national security and economic resilience through Section 232 actions on proposed critical minerals and derivative products. So again, opening up markets for all of these guys as well. Restoring common sense to federal procurement. The federal government is the largest buyer of goods and services in the world, yet conducting this. That's odd, isn't it? Yet conducting business with the federal government is often prohibitively inefficient and costly. More than 40 years ago, the Federal Acquisition Regulation, or FAR, was implemented to establish uniform procurements for acquisitions across executive departments and agencies. The vision of the Federal Acquisition System, codified at Section 1.102 of FAR, is to deliver on a timely basis the best value product or service in the customer while maintaining the public's trust and fulfillment public policy objectives. So, the federal procurement under FAR receives constant negative assessments regarding its efficiency, comprehensive studies such as the 2024 Senate Committee report entitled Restoring Freedom Forge and the 2019 report by Advisory Panel on Streamlining and Codifying Acquisition Regulations created by the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2016, Public Law 114-92, and made up of experts in acquisition of procurement policies, conclude that the FAR is a barrier to rather than a prudent vehicle for doing business with the federal government. I'm like, why are you reading this on DarkDox? I'm proving a point here that, you know, I'm hearing a lot of Democrats and leftists saying Trump isn't doing anything. It's like, and then they're like, Biden was, you know, just on top of it. And he was just so sharp. And it's like, you can go back to the Wayback Machine and look at whitehouse.gov under the Biden administration and see how many days went by before between anything being posted or any executive orders. Whereas this is just a cherry picking of today. And I could really just spend a whole show in all of this. Updating and permitting technology for the 21st century. Yeah, you can read that link in description because it's not really DarkDox related. By the way, Doge.gov, your widget for your X isn't working. Okay, now it's working. I refreshed it 3 times before the show. So over at Doge.gov, which isn't being transparent at all, well, just today, RT Secretary Scott Benson, the IRS has removed non-technical people from technical leadership roles in engineering and replaced them with experienced engineers. Going forward, skilled engineers will drive technical decision. The IRS has its fair share of software talent. These men and women who have long served the IRS need to be empowered to make decisions. Or we could just abolish the IRS. But also at Doge today, in addition to the ones below, they've also canceled these wasteful grants. $1.4 million for preventing internet fragmentation in Brazil. Why are we paying anything to Brazil for anything, let alone preventing internet fragmentation? What the hell? $1.4 million. $170,000 for, quote, enabling civil society resilience and adaptation in Kyrgyzstan. Point to Kyrgyzstan on a map. I can't. $1 million for building trust and keeping hope alive in Sri Lanka. $2 million for advancing democratic culture in Armenia. Why were we ever doing this? Secretary Rubio contends to scrutinize the State Department foreign assistance today, canceling 139 wasteful grants worth $215 million, including, drumroll please, $5.2 million for media diversity for programs like Get the Trolls Out and anti-disinformation program in the United Kingdom. The trolls can actually comment in our comment section. We would greatly appreciate that. $1 million for channeling gig workers' rights in Brazil. Again, can anyone explain to me why we've ever spent any money on any of this in any of these countries? No, stop. I mean, and frankly, we need to investigate why this ever happened and see if we can get some of this money back, is what I'd like to see happen. I'm sure that's a long shot, but I mean, we need accountability. If you like what we do, you can support not just DarkDox, but the Alex Jones store. InfoWars is being under attack. Alex just came out today that he's already moving all of his stuff out of the InfoWars studios because the judges, they're not going in favor of our Constitution. There's counter lawsuits that are currently being put into place. They have a bunch of evidence, to go civilly and criminally after the Onion and Bloomberg and all of these Democrat scumbags that are trying to silence Alex Jones. So it's an ongoing battle. They need your help. And if you use the link, thealexjonesstore /
DarkDox,
then we get 10% of the profit from anything that you purchase over there. The frog is back. I love this thing. It is on my bed right now. It's the cushiest, most luxurious little frog. And originally it was on sale for $19.99, but right now it's a fundraiser at $34.99. So if you want to help out and get a really cool tchotchke, get the frog. Ultramethylene blue, amazing stuff. Just get it. And it's $47.99. However, if you subscribe and save, which is what I did, you save 50%. It's only $29.99. There's also price breaks if you get several bottles. So definitely get that stuff. The Shilajit complex is now available in gummies. I have the pills, and they're fantastic with ashwagandha, bladderwrack, burdock root, sea moss. What else is in there? All kinds of stuff. Ashwagandha, turmeric. So definitely check that out. I got my Ultimate Burn on the way. It is powered by Calorie Burn and Glucovantage. And it's not a weight loss drug, but rather it just helps your metabolism burn faster when you're sedentary. The CMOS gummies are back in stock, so if you like the gummies, you can get those. They still have some more of the limited edition silver Alex Jones coins. They have a Alex Jones Was Right jar, which is kind of fun. So every time Alex Jones was right, you can throw some money in there and you'll be rich. And that's how that works. And they have a bundle with the frog for $44.99. That's fantastic. That's actually a good deal. And it gets better. If you're a VIP member, it's $35.99. So they run these specials all the time where VIP members get an even bigger discount. You get between 10 and 40% if you join the VIP club. I'm a part of it. I spend $30 a month and I get $40 in store credits. You also have access to the lost tapes from 2001 to 2008. It's all of the Alex Jones shows from the end of the Bush administration going into the Obama administration, all of the interviews and so much more, discounts. And really, I just like to see it as like it's a commitment that you're going to spend $30 a month supporting the InfoWar. And again, like they give you $10 extra for free to buy whatever you want in on the store. In addition to all of the, you get double entries to all of the giveaways. And what are they giving away? Well, right now they're giving away a 2024 Foundation Series Alex Jones edition wrapped Cybertruck with the American flag in 1776. And so right now it's 1x entries for every dollar you spend, but sometimes it goes up to 10 and 20% if you are a VIP member. So it's fun. The supplements are fantastic. Oh yeah, and they have a new limited edition Molon Labe InfoWars belt buckle, which is pretty cool. So they're always coming out with cool stuff. They got t-shirts, they got stickers, all kinds of fun stuff at thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox. The betrayal of the Justice Roberts Brown reports. Let's watch.
Chief Justice Roberts, who is presiding, may surprise us.
Chief Justice John Roberts, the last stop when it comes to upholding the Constitution, finds himself increasingly entangled in a web of elite connections and questionable alliances that threaten his reputation as an impartial arbiter.
It may help explain why SCOTUS declined to hear any of the election integrity issues in 2020 and has ruled fairly, I would say, unfavorably with Trump in terms of overturning these district court judges going after Trump here in the U.S. But the fact is judiciary is rogue all around in this upside down world that we're living in right now.
Roberts' close personal friendship with Norm Eisen, a radical leftist operative and key player in anti-Trump lawfare, which includes Trump's first impeachment and recent lawsuits against Elon Musk's Doge initiative. Eisen bragged about hosting Roberts at his 150-room palace in the Czech Republic, where they collaborated on American and European rule of law issues, while Roberts presided over the Supreme Court.
John Roberts is not corrupt. I know the Chief Justice well. He stayed when I was ambassador, stayed under my roof, came and spent a week with us. We worked on American and European rule of law issues together.
One of the great things about being ambassador is that people come and visit you, and John came twice, and he stayed with us on one of those occasions. And I know him from before.
This revelation raises serious questions about Roberts' impartiality, particularly given his role in overseeing the secretive rubber stamp FISA court that granted 33,942 warrants and denied only 12. Scandals like the Russia hoax have fueled accusations that the court enables unchecked power, with Roberts at its helm, appointing judges who keep the corrupt system humming. Roberts' ties to Eisen are compounded by his connections to an exclusive circle of judges and lawyers, including James Boasberg, Beryl Howell, Amit Mehta, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, names that repeatedly surface in controversial Trump-related cases.
You tell me, Mike, John Roberts could have said, by himself, he had the power to say, no, that temporary injunction that was just upheld by the Court of Appeals is lifted. No, you're not doing that.
Yeah, we're in very dangerous territory when you can have a district court judge in America sabotage an ongoing military operation, order the president to turn around planes, bring back 200 of the worst terrorists of the Western Hemisphere back to America without knowing if we have the security capability in place like they did in El Salvador. This is very dangerous when judges wade in to these commander-in-chief powers of the president. So I would say this to the Chief Justice, John Roberts, and I would say this to Justice Amy Coney Barrett. They failed to do their job when Judge Ali on the D.C. District Court ordered the president to issue $2 billion in checks in foreign aid without the president being able to do a national security review to make sure that we're not funding, for example, Hamas terrorists under the guise of Gazan humanitarian relief. So Judge Boasberg is going to take us to the brink, and this could be stopped, and this could be stopped today if the Chief Justice, John Roberts, would do his damn job and get his judicial house in order and get these judicial saboteurs, these activist judges in line.
As calls for the FISA court reform grow louder, Roberts' unchecked power to appoint judges faces scrutiny. His carefully cultivated image as a neutral guardian of justice has unraveled, replaced by accusations of complicity in an elite-driven surveillance state. With America approaching its 250th anniversary, the controversy surrounding Roberts signals a broader crisis of trust in the institutions meant to uphold and protect our freedoms. John Bound reporting for InfoWars.
Yeah, so again, we need to smack down all these judges that are acting unconstitutionally. It's just that simple. Breaking: arsonist that firebombed the Pennsylvania governor's home has been identified as a crazy leftist. Could have told you that.
But now it's being reported that the arsonist is Cody Balmer, a registered socialist, Bernie supporter, mad
Bernie,
at the Democrats. They're not going with the Soros burning plan to have basically an...
It's funny how it's like Bernie Sanders and Feel the Burn, and yet a lot of them turn out to be arsonists. Is that a coincidence? I think not.
Uprising in America, because that's the two wings. And so, look at that person. Just look at leftists. They look like central casting for a zombie apocalypse. Climbed the big fence, like a 12-foot spiked fence, with a hammer reportedly to come kill them. and then broke in the house and poured gasoline everywhere. Got reportedly, after he lit it, got chased out. There were police there. I mean, it's the governor's mansion. And got, I guess, hurt climbing back over the fence. Now he's in the hospital. They caught him down the road. And that's why last night when I saw Shapiro's statement, I said on air, I said, maybe it isn't, maybe it's not going to be some Nazi, because
they all have that strange,
the governor's like,
hair
I don't care who this is wrong.
Because they don't take supplements.
And I'm like, wait a minute. You know if it was a right-winger or a Nazi or something, I mean, you never hear the end of it.
So that's a whole 10-minute report from Alex Jones. Actions that aren't immediately visible do not equate in action. FBI Deputy Director Dan Code Bongino breaks silence amid mounting conservative scrutiny of bureau leadership. That's a long headline. But yeah, he tweeted over on the X's. He slashed on the X, like, I don't know. But wait, 5 weeks update? No. Where's the tweet? I think it's here. Oh, I see. But yeah, he's pretty much like apologizing that, like, oh, you don't really see what's going on here. I'll let you read the tweet. But a link in the description. And just about like how, like, oh, what are you guys doing? It's like, I get it. Some things just take time behind the scenes to do, and these are very complicated matters. So, but I think a lot of Americans' patience are up, and, Dan Bongino being a podcaster and having a huge base, I'm sure he's getting a lot of feedback on, like, what the fuck is, like, Pam Bondi, everyone's throwing her under the bus. But, these are big jobs, so we're demanding results. Nearly half of all crime suspects in Austria last year were foreign. Police stats show. Yeah, well, you guys should probably kick them out, right? That's how that works. Family of teen murder suspect Carmelo Anthony plans to use a portion of the $400,000 in donations for new home and private security after racist threats. So this piece of shit's family... this, if you're not familiar, this kid stabbed this kid to death, over like an altercation on, like, where they were sitting. It was something very stupid and trivial. But, according to the police reports, the attacker was the one who started the fight, I guess you could say. You can look into the whole case and make the decision for yourself. But so his family raised almost $500,000, and so now they're going to buy a home and private security with money raised off of the slaying of this kid. It's not right. How about you give that money to the fucking family of the kid that your son murdered? There's a fucking idea. It's unbelievable. I mean, the whole thing is just like Twilight Zone. Antifa Hammer gang extremists rewarded with German state arts funding. The jury praised Hannah Schlinger's take on systematic violence, irony as she awaits trial for allegedly wielding it herself. What is this about? And the prestigious 27th Federal Prize for Art Students goes to Hannah Schillinger. Schillinger. I don't like your name. Reportedly the same as Hannah S., who years ago was arrested for her alleged involvement in serious political inspired attacks in Budapest, and who remains in custody on suspicion of attempted murder. Schiller, like Chiller, it's Schiller, got it. I was adding all kinds of letters in there. Is said to have carried out attacks, including striking 3 people repeatedly with batons and other weapons, and using pepper spray on them after joining Germany's hard-left militant Hammer Gang, which has links to self-described anti-fascist groups. Something about the left, they just can't keep their hands to themselves. Like these guys over here, where are my Nazis at? See, that was aggravated assault, Anthony Fauci. Lawyers, alleged MS-13 member Kilmar Agrego Garcia complains feds have done nothing to bring him back despite SCOTUS order. Yeah, because you are an illegal alien who is also a convicted felon here in the United States. So deportation is what I say. Deportation is too long of a word. I need faster deportations, so therefore I need deportations. They're like abortions, you know. I'm pro deportation. I'm pro the right to choose for you to get the fuck out of my country. Woke Ford executive makes a crucial error regarding DEI as he cruelly mocks a disabled man for watching Fox News on a flight. A leftist... First of all, look at this guy. I mean, both of them. Jeesh. A leftist woke extreme executive is under fire for going on social media to boast about how he bullied a disabled man for watching Fox News on an airplane and made a massive error regarding the meaning of DEI in the process. Barrett Evans, Ford's chief learning officer, first of all, wrote a thread post on Friday that he noticed a disabled man watching Fox News during an entire plane ride from San Diego. When the plane landed, Evans decided to bring up DEI as he mocked the man for daring to watch a conservative leading channel. Quote, elderly passenger on my flight from San Diego yesterday enjoyed Fox quote-unquote news for the entire ride, Evans wrote. Deplaning, and I noticed he and his wife were getting into their airport wheelchairs to be pushed to the next gate. My filter was malfunctioning. Odd and gay. Not sending their best. New South African special envoy to USA called Donald Trump a racist, homophobe, narcissist, right-winger. Then maybe you shouldn't be the South African special envoy to the U.S. You're fired. Detained Colombia protester Mohsen Mahdawi threatened and intimidated Jewish students, State Department says. So, the Palestinian Columbia University student arrested by ICE agents in Vermont led disruptive anti-Israel protests on his campus. I'm fine with anti-Israel protests on campus, or anti-anything, frankly. Anti-Jew, anti-Nazi, anti-anything. It's your right. It's your First Amendment, as long as you're a citizen. And engaged in threatening rhetoric and intimidation against Jewish students. Again, threatening rhetoric, what did he say? State Department sources tell the Post. Let's see, do we got a video? Does that have audio? Whatever you want to do.
Initial intervention, as the court of public opinion is still playing out. In recent weeks, there's been a spate of foreign student deportations at American universities after President Trump vowed to crack down on anti-Israel college protesters. The student stories have emerged amid a much broader mass deportation effort. A Department of Homeland Security source told the Post that since President Trump's January 20th inauguration, ICE officials have made 113,000 arrests and carried out north of 100,000 deportations. Illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border have also fallen to levels not seen in decades, with DHS sources calling it the Trump effect. Some of the focus has been on members of transnational criminal organizations like Tren de Aragua and MS-13. Trump even invoked the 18th century Alien Enemies Act to deport some of the alleged gang members to a notorious El Salvadoran hellhole mega-prison without a trial. According to El Salvador's president, the most recent flight of arrivals included murderers and child rapists. Those are allegedly the worst of the worst. So how do student protesters fit into it all? It started playing out in public on March 8th when a Columbia University protester named Mahmoud Khalil was arrested. Khalil, a green card holder, was accused of hiding his ties to the controversial United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees on his visa application and is slated for deportation for allegedly distributing pro-Hamas flyers at the Ivy League school. Trump has accused Khalil of supporting Hamas, but the student protester has denied any such links. Khalil's detainment sparked a national debate over free speech rights.
Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do.
And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges. And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in.
The ground.
So it's interesting, like the way, this is from the New York Post, and like I'm sick of the media being so vague. Just, I want quotes. I want to see the flyer. You need a scanned copy of the flyer. Like if you're going to do the news, do the news. You know, because yeah, if you're distributing Hamas literature using their logo and stuff, well, that's an international terrorist organization, so that changes things. You know, I don't want to hear he's making, you know, disrupting classes and making kids feel unsafe. Well, those aren't crimes. And yeah, the First Amendment is only for citizens. If you're here on a visa, no First Amendment for you. You don't have the right to organize, protest, and like speak loudly about. And also, just I think we need to pass a new law that if you're over here protesting for some other country, you know, and you know, it needs to be America first. Like I'm sorry, like no, we can't allow you to be like, don't bring your problems over here. We have our own problems, and we don't need any of this. So yeah. It's a tough situation because on one side, you know, you want to be a free speech absolutist and you want to, you know, but again, that's for citizens. Like you don't have the same rights when you come over here for one reason or another. And a big part of it is you have to have an allegiance for the United States, or else why are you here? Get out. British Prime Minister Starmer purges historical artworks, replaces them with diverse daubings. Daubings? It's a daubing. I don't care. The EU sucks. Fired FDA chief is now trashing RFK Jr. and his autism study on the fake news. Big Pharma has the most to lose. I don't care what you have to say. Link in description if you care to read any of this crap. It's 8:58. We're going to be on the nose today because I'm going to power through these. Missing New York City banker Grant Barr washes up dead on Spanish beach and heartbreaking twist to family. I clip. Oh, it's just one of these. Boo. The body of New York City banker washed up on the beach in Spain, but his family continued searching for him for weeks because no one told him about the grisly discovery. Rude. Grant Barr, a 37-year-old banker from New York Mellon, disappeared on January 28th while vacationing in Estepona on the Costa del Sol, mysteriously leaving only a pair of pants, passport, and boating license on the beach. His body washed ashore March 3rd, but it was only identified in early April, meaning his family spent weeks desperately searching for him, but not realizing he was found dead. Tragic. That's awful. Hopefully there was no foul play. PA Governor mansion, arsonist was already to beat Shapiro with sledgehammer. Right, we covered. Wow. That's the photo they should have used on InfoWars. That's... This guy can vote, people. Just remember that. EU reverses course and is now willing to negotiate with trade deal on the U.S. Looks like the Trump effect is working. Trans-identified male soccer players take woman's right campaigner to court for misgendering. Wood chipper. I don't want your stinking ads. Lipstick-wearing suspect in Tesla GOP office firebombing hauled out shirtless in dramatic New Mexico raid. See, that's not the right shade if he was taking the methylene blue.
In prison. He's accused of burning 2 Teslas outside a New Mexico dealership in February and then spray painting the building and 6 more cars with messages like Die Elon, Tesla Nazi, and swastika symbols.
7 weeks later, he's accused of setting fire to the Republican Party building in Albuquerque. Wagner joins a growing list of people accused of Tesla vandalism, which the Attorney General has described as domestic terrorism.
So senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse reporting on more on all this as we begin a new hour. William, hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. You know, across the country, you're right, police report dozens of...
If you want to watch the rest of that, then go to Fox News. UK media labels man with diaper fetish who smears feces on nursery walls a woman. Death penalty by wood chipper. Look at these ghouls, fucking demons. Woman, quote unquote, smeared feces at nursery and climbed in clinical waste bin for comfort. I hope there was dirty syringes. Massachusetts couple accused of kidnapping their own 5 children from state custody. That's right, you heard that. A Massachusetts couple is facing serious charges after allegedly kidnapping their 5 children who had been placed in the custody of the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families. Israel Rivera, 31, and Ruth Encarnacion, 30, were located by Fitchburg police in early March after a multi-state manhunt. The couple is accused of taking their children across state lines in an attempt to evade DCF intervention. You know, so it's horrendous. Like, I've interviewed so many of these parents over the years that, you know, they lose their kids because like some Karen calls DCF, and you know, we need to disincentivize financially the whole DCF program, because they'll snag your kids up if they just don't like the cut of your jib, or you're a conservative, or you are a holistic family that doesn't take shots like my family. And you know, so we have to walk on eggshells because we're all afraid of DCF taking our kids. Meanwhile, they will give them to literal convicted pedophiles on the other end, part of their human trafficking network. Authorities, that's why these parents did the right thing and took their 5 children back. Authorities believe the family fled Massachusetts shortly before the state attempted to enforce child protective measures, according to WCVB5. Rivera, the biological father of 4 of the 5 children, was arraigned last week in Fitchburg District Court. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. Good for him. And he is currently being held without bail. So now the kids are back in custody. The parents are in prison. This isn't justice. This isn't the country that, you know, we voted for. This needs to stop. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. Yeah, got it. Link in description. Apparently this is a total shitstorm on Facebook about this weird chick that we covered a couple episodes ago. That's the city council member number 3 that got doxxed for doing weird stuff with kids. Here's her phone number and her email address if you're looking for a hot time. But yeah, apparently there's a dumpster fire in the comments, and I'm going to check it out later. And that concludes today's episode. It is now 9:04 p.m. And be sure to check out thealexjonesstore.com /
DarkDox.
And also, if you like what I do and you just want to throw me some cash, CASH.APP / DarkDox. Big ups, as always, to Data Battle Z, and thank you for the donation. He was supposed to come out on Monday, but him and Jacob Engels got sick, so that's why I went by myself. But, you know, I still had a good time. You guys were missed. You're tons of fun and very professional and awesome people. And once more, we go to outer space, only to come back down like a fireball, like Katy Perry, who apparently everyone's saying is faking a space trip. I'm not even going to cover that on this episode, but check out the War Room today with Owen Schroyer. They did a breakdown, and the whole thing's weird. And we're back down at SeaWorld. We will see you tomorrow on Sushi Day Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com / Sacred Owls. Until then, I once more remind you to beware. Take care. Bye-bye.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Talk.
DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox. Digest. DarkDox. Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at CASH.APP / DarkDox.